we are here at the Transition Center for Kindred Hospital of Dallas, and we are here with this month's honoree, veteran honoree, Mr. John Barker. And we came to him because he can't come to us. And we are going to honor you for your service to this country. And the hospital was so nice to welcome us. Thank you, everybody.
Yes, please.
And we're here with Christy and Jim Katzenberger, and Councilwoman Pam Bell, Councilman Brownie Sherrill, Councilwoman Martha Brown, and Councilman Blake Margolis, and me, Mayor Tammy Dana Bastion. And we're also here with Chris Bunkoff with Life Message, who Life Message is a big part of our VROC organization. And so I'm going to turn it over to Chris first and let him talk a little bit about what VROC is and what Life Message does for our community.
So Life Message is a nonprofit food and hunger relief organization that is actually working to become a full resource center for our community. We've partnered with many other organizations that are supporting veterans throughout our community, including the Third Watch, Law Enforcement Motorcycle Club, the Marine Corps League, the DAV, which is our Disabled American Veterans Organization, and many others. And together we have formed what we call the VROC, which is our Veterans Resource and Outreach Committee. And together we actually help veterans in need, whether it's food, whether it's medical assistance, and honoring them and serving them in their homes and in our community. Together we're able to bring resources and much needed assistance, especially on the east side of Dallas, and of course our home, which is right in Rowlett. So it's an honor for us at Life Message to be here today, honoring John and all of those that we get to support on a monthly basis through Life Message.
I was really so honored to read about your history and to research it a little bit with all the detail you gave us. So I want to share your history with everyone else, okay? So Mr. Barker was a senior at Lakewood High in Ohio, and you had a dilemma because you were drafted. You had a draft number. You had a draft number of 2. So you went for pre-entry information and rating test, and you scored really high. So you kind of had your choice where you wanted to go, and you decided you would join the U.S. Navy. Is that correct? Do you remember what year that was?
1970.
1970. We all know what was going on in the 70s, don't we?
July the 6th.
So you had a big interest in electronics, and you were interested in going to school to be trained in electronics, right? Mm-hmm. So you went to the RTC Great Lakes, which is the Recruiting Training Command. So boot camp was brutal, but you excelled, and you were given lots of different opportunities to choose from. But you still said you wanted electronics, right? So true to their word, you went to basic electronics training, followed by electronic technician A school, which was several months of intense training, basically where they jam an associate's degree into 6 months. Wow. And you were offered tactical air navigation training at the end of A school, and you earned your E4, which is the 4th enlisted rank, Petty Officer 3rd class at that time.
Correct.
Then it was off to the real world for a while, the Royal Navy, right? You served numerous stations and got to see a lot of the world. You were at Naval Air Station Guantanamo. You were on the missile destroyer USS Charles F. Adams, which is referred to as Charlie Deuce. You were on Naval Station Treasure Island, Naval Air Station Alameda, Naval Air Station North Island, the USS Kitty Hawk, Naval Auxiliary Landing Field San Clemente Island, and you finished up at the Naval Air Station in Dallas.
Correct.
And all of that was over a period of 8 years?
Almost 9.
Almost 9 years. So 1970 to 78, 79?
78.
78. So you earned your E5, which is Petty Officer 2nd class, while at Treasure Island. and you went to electronic technician B school, which was very intense electronics and math training. And you earned your E6, which is Petty Officer First Class, at the Naval Air Station in Dallas.
Correct.
Gitmo was so interesting that you decided to do your reenlistment after serving there. You received small arms and combat training while you were at Gitmo, and you earned your marksman and expert ratings of M1 with M1 and a Colt 45. And you had a U.S. Marine Corps gunnery sergeant tell you that you were a born machine gunner after grading you on a 50 caliber. This is one tough dude. Your favorite time was when you were on the Charlie Deuce. It was a great ship with a fearless commanding officer. Do you remember his name?
Yeah, Don Gerke.
Don Gerke. He taught you a lot?
Commander Gerke was pretty cool.
You were deployed to the Gulf of Tonkin,
Yeah.
where you did NOM duty on the gun line, the Persian Gulf, and the Red Sea as a member of the 6th Fleet, the North Atlantic NATO Cruise, Independent South Atlantic Cruise, and as part of the Enterprise Battle Group.
Mm-hmm.
And you attained multi-shellback. Anybody know what that is? It means he crosses the equator. And double blue nose. Anybody know what that is? Cross the Arctic Circle while you were
I
in the
got
Navy.
both of them.
And you finished up your life and career in Dallas. You were one of the regulars on the reserve base, and you were constantly training. And then you were employed with Rockwell International for the next 37 years of your life.
Yep.
So can we applaud you for all of that?
If you were. Thank you. Thank you.
So before we give you a couple of items, would you like to say anything?
It's been a real pleasure living here in Rowlett. As you can tell, I came and stayed. I guess that's a bad Yankee. It's been fun watching Rowlett grow. I think there's a lot more that we're going to be doing now that a lot of land has freed up along the bush. And kind of looking forward to getting out of here.
Well, I'm gonna turn this over to Mayor Pro Tem Brown, and she has a special presentation for you. Okay.
So what I have for you here is from our Texas House of Representatives, Cindy Burkett, and this is a flag for you that was flown over the Texas House of Representatives in your honor.
Oh, cool.
And I have a message here from Representative Burkett that I would like to read to you. This certifies that the Texas flag herewith presented to E6 Petty Officer First Class John Barker by State Representative Cindy Burkett was flown at the capital of the sovereign state of Texas in recognition of your brave and courageous service in the United States Navy in defending our country. In witness thereof and pursuant to the authority vested in me, I have hereunto set my hand and seal of office at Austin, Texas, this 5th day of November, 2018, and it's signed by State Representative Cindy Burkett.
Cool.
And now I'm going to have Councilman Margolis read a proclamation to you. Okay.
Sure.
Whereas the freedom and security that citizens of the United States enjoy today are direct results of the bloodshed and continued vigilance given by the United States Armed Forces over the history of our great nation. And whereas it is called military service because it is putting others first while putting themselves in harm's way. defending the Constitution, protecting the blessings of liberty, and paying the price of freedom for us all. And whereas the men and women who don the uniforms of our Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard sacrifice time with their own families so that we may be safe with our own. And whereas John Barker enlisted in the U.S. Navy in 1970, immediately after his high school graduation, and whereas John Barker served throughout the world, Guantanamo, San Francisco, at Treasure Island, San Clemente Island, on the USS Charles F. Adams, and the USS Kitty Hawk, and ultimately landing at the Naval Air Station Dallas when he was discharged. Now, therefore, it is my great honor, I, Blake Margolis, council member, City of Rowlett, and on behalf of the mayor and Rowlett City Council, do hereby proclaim John Barker as one of Rowlett's vets and encourage all of our citizens to show their appreciation to Mr. Barker and to his family for their service to our country and community.
Thank you. Thank you.
And so we have one other item. It's a quilt from Quilts of Valor. You may have heard of that organization. But that quilt is not quite done. It was going to be done by tomorrow, but we will get that quilt to you. They're absolutely beautiful. And they'll have some information on there about your service time. And that's a very special quilt that we'll be presenting to you also.
Ah, cool.
All right. Anything else you'd like to say?
No, I'd like to thank everybody for this. This was quite the surprise when I found out about it. You know, you find out about a lot of things on social media before you know them. This was one of them.
You found out we were going to honor you on social media?
Yeah.
Well, we thank you for your service. This is about you, and we appreciate you, and we want you to get better and come back to Rowlett, and I'm sure they'll do a great job here getting you back up on your feet and back into Rowlett, hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank